This is some gameplay I recorded on Tunisia, and I'm basically going to discuss the limitations of these Russian MBTs and why they don't compete with specifically really the German MBTs. They have some very critical flaws that mean they need certain things to offset these flaws, mainly firepower and armor is what they really need. Because, if I just pause for a minute, the main flaws we're going to see when I go up here is this. This gun doesn't have enough depression, which means I have to expose some of this plate. NATO MBTs don't have to do this because of their gun depression, so they can essentially just expose their virtually impervious turrets. I can't do that. I have to expose my much weaker hull armor, and on the T-90A especially, the M53 will tear right through all of this. And once you compound that with my slow reverse and my lack of survivability, it basically means I have to expose much more of my more vulnerable tank because of my lack of survivability than NATO tanks do. I also have a slow reload, which means they can beat me to the next shot. Anyway, we're going to go up here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try and take out some of these guys' breaches. I take a shot at this guy, I breach him. I actually get lucky with one of these shots. So, I breach him. Now, his friend's going to pop up here. Mr. Richthofen. I breach him as well, but I also get his loader. Now, for some reason, he just sits there with his gun up, and I don't know why. He just points his gun into the air and just stays there. I guess he wasn't too keen on survival. We're going to get shot into his turret, and I believe he dies. Yeah, so there we go. We get a kill. Through an ammunition explosion. So maybe we got lucky that his hatches didn't allow him to survive. Now again, you're seeing the issue here that I'm having to go quite far forward to engage these guys, and from their perspective, they can see my front plate. I can't see theirs, which means, as you saw on this guy, unless I get lucky with an ammunition explosion, I'm essentially going to have to cruise snipe them, or hope they overextend. Whereas with me, to even get a shot, really, I have to expose this frontal plate, which means that I'm basically in danger of getting one shot. I can get ammo racked. So it causes quite an issue, especially in this sort of scenario. And you see my slow reverse causing me more issues. Now, the way you can offset this is simple. You have to make this upper plate too strong for NATO tanks to penetrate without then aiming for specific weak points. And you have to give it rounds that can possibly pen the turrets of these. Maybe not pen the turrets, but at least have a chance of going through if they're angled slightly poorly or something like that. If I remember rightly, this can go through the turret of the original, 3BM42 can go through the turret of the original Abrams, which is what the 64B had. So for some reason, balance-wise, the 64B could go through pretty much every single part of the M1 Abrams. But yet the Abrams still stomped the 64B. It wasn't even a competition. All the 64B had over the Abrams was firepower and armor. And the top two Russian MBTs kind of need their firepower and armor because of all of these other limitations. Currently, they don't have firepower or armor, so they're essentially useless. So I think I spotted this guy coming down here, so I decided I'm going to try and flank. Now, you immediately see my traverse slowing me down. It's actually making it harder for me to take advantage of this opportunity, because this traverse is so slow, and my reverse is so slow. So I finally get my thing turned around. No neutral reverse, of course. Now, so I decided to go down here because the Challenger goes down here. So they both do a good job. The Leclerc gets a 2A6. Now, what we're about to see coming up here is the other issue with these tanks, and it's their gun elevation speed and the turret traverse. What this essentially means is that if targets quickly peek you or coming out of left field and you don't think they're going to be there at that time, it's very hard for you to readjust and get a quick shot off. With NATO MBTs, this is not an issue. And it's a real weakness. Now you could say I get lucky here. he probably takes a poor shot. Now, a guy pushes me here, and you're going to see another issue. So, I think he shoots me with heat. I don't know what he shoots with. I think it's heat though, based on that explosion. So I've taken out his driver. Now again, another one with no ammo in this ammo rack, which means he can ammo rack me from the front. I can't right now. That's such a huge advantage that basically shooting them down here on this right side will yield nothing but one crew killed. Basically, you have half the target to aim at sometimes with these leopards, because all their crews, their kill shot can only really happen on one side at this point. You can't ammo rack them. And I use this in my 2A6 wartime, and it is so effective at keeping you alive. It's not an option for a Russian MBT. So I take out his track, and then I decide to put the fire. Now I'm going to go to switch to players view. This might be a bit awkward to watch, but this guy up here peeks me. And I physically cannot get my gun to him in time. I don't have the time to get my gun to him because of my slow elevation and traverse. And this is on a level 135 crew with maximum gunnery skills. So even that's not enough. So I'm going to get in the 72B3. And now you're going to see how volumetric armor is a problem, I believe. It's either volumetric armor or the firepower of this round. I don't know which one it is, but it's one of the two, and it's stupid. So, there's a 2A5 down here, which, by all logic, I should be able to pen frontally. Now, he shoots at me first. I guess I got lucky there. Bad aim. Which we're going to see from this player a lot. He really should have killed me. So I try to shoot him in his frontal plate. And just get a non-pen. He takes out my gun. And now here's my reverse. I'm stuck here. I don't know how he doesn't kill me. I have no clue how he doesn't kill me. Right? But I managed to get up here and repair. So let's go for the repair. So I want to get, obviously I want to get back down here and engage these guys. As soon as my repair's over. And here you're going to see my traverse costing me a lot of time again, once I start moving. See, slow reverse, really slow traversing. It takes ages to turn around, which is costing me time. And could cost this guy his life because it's taking me too long to get there. With a NATO MBT, I could have just reversed out and it wouldn't have been an issue. You can't do that in these. They don't have that sort of versatility. So they're lacking firepower. Their armor becomes irrelevant because of the M53 and their weak spots. Which is then compounded again by the lack of survivability. They don't have any traverse, they don't have any reverse. They don't have any gun depression. The gun elevation is really slow. I don't see any of the pros of these tanks. It's really strange that this is the same BR as a 2A6, when a 2A6 has pretty much every advantage on it. But we're going to go over and get this kill on this 2A5. You one-shot him, straight for his side. Straight into his crew compartment. And mentioning the survivability of these 2A5s and 2A6s, I have very often shot them on the left side perfectly, and I've had the commander at the back turn red, not even die. So it's a perfect shot, and true, his gunner is dead, and so is his driver, so he's essentially, a kill, an easy kill. But the point is that I lined up a perfect shot with my best ammunition in this tank, and his commander just goes red. If he gets an equivalent shot on me, I explode. It's not really a fair balance for two tanks at the same battle rating. So I get his track, I get his gunner, and then he dies. And we go on to win the game. But the point I'm trying to make here is that these tanks have so many limitations, yet they don't really seem to have any pros. I mean, if I were to list their cons, it would be their maneuverability, their gun handling, their munitions, their reloads, their reverses. Their only real pro is that they have somewhat better armor on the front of their hull than NATO MBTs. But that doesn't matter because the M53 will go through you at something like 1.8 kilometers in some cases. I think on the T-98 at least. I think on this tank it's about 1,000 meters. It'll go right through pretty much almost any part of the upper plate. Which essentially means that you are virtually a one-shottable tank from most scenarios in this game. And an easily one-shottable tank. The 2A6 is not. And you may think, oh well, just take a disabling shot and then finish him with the next one. That works fine in a 1v1 scenario, but we're not in a 1v1 scenario. That extra time it takes you to kill that one 2A6 is time that other 2A5s and 2A6s can push up. If there's two of them, for instance, and you take a shot and you do not disable or kill, you do not kill that first 2A6, the chance of you getting away in this tank is 0. If I pop out, shoot one 2A6, kill him, I don't then have the reverse to get her back around the corner. Which is another, so you essentially have to kill that tank on its first shot, or the likelihood is it's going to kill you. I really don't see the benefits of these Russian MBTs. So I don't really see what can be done to fix this, because a lot of Russian MBTs in real life have these same drawbacks. Unless you're just going to go so far as to make all but like this and this and this impervious to ammunition, give them ammunition which can much more easily penetrate the enemy. Unless you're going to do that, I really don't see these tanks ever really fitting the meta.